Hi, everyone, and welcome to the NTS's Arts Apart reading of Used to Call Me Marie. My name is Tai Amy Grauman, and I'm Métis Cree Haudenosaunee from Ardrossan, Alberta, and I'm currently in Edmonton, and this is my play. So I'm a playwright, I guess. So first of all, I'm going to introduce the play, and the way today is going to go is I'm going to talk a bit about the work as a whole, and what we're doing, and then we're going to read some excerpts of stories because it's a really long play, and I'm going to show you some pictures too. So you just have to listen to me talk for a minute, and then we'll do scenes. So You Used to Call Me Marie is an epic Métis love story which begins in creation and ends in the present. The story follows Iskwewo, woman, Napew, man, and Mistatim, horse, through 8 interwoven historical Métis love stories as we watch the love, the loss, and the fight of Treaty 6's Métis women and men. The 8 stories are varying lengths and range from 3 to 30 minutes. So today, we're going to read you 3 stories, 2 short ones, so you'll hear the whole stories because they're like 2 minutes, and the beginning of one of the longer stories. So the first thing to know is that all of these love stories are actually about my family and the women and men in my family, and I'm a Callahoo. So the Callahoo family is the big Métis family in Alberta, and we were at the center of every Métis resistance and uprising in Alberta. And so a lot of the play inherently becomes political because it moves through time. And although it's a love story first, I didn't mean this to happen, but by association, it became a historical epic, which is really cool. So the first story in the play is a creation story that I've built that kind of is the prophecy for the rest of the play. So I'm going to tell you the story in a storytelling fashion because it's very visual. And so, yeah. So this creation story is essentially a combination of all the creation stories I've grown up with. And we begin in the star world, where Iskwewo is planting a sweetgrass garden. Mistatim, which is the horse, Iskwewo is the woman. Mistatim is standing beside the garden, and Iskwewo is telling her a story about a woman who must fall to the earth in order to create the world. When the love of her life, Napew, approaches her and offers her a tobacco root, then asks her to dance. They stop and make vows to each other. And the vows are, I honor you, I walk with you, I respect you, I love you. And these vows are repeated through the 8 stories in the play, and they come and go depending where we are in time. And they're also said in Cree. So just after they finish their vows, the ground beneath Iskwewo's feet falls, and she is left hanging onto Napew's hand through a gaping hole. Under her, she can see the ground and realizes that she is the woman who has to build the earth and create the land. And so a star falls in front of her, and Napew and Iskwewo realize the star was supposed to be her daughter. And Iskwewo follows the star, swallows the star, so that she can bring her baby to earth with her. She plants the tobacco root Napew gave her in her heart, so that she's able to bring the plant and the baby with her. So she swallowed the star, and she's planted the tobacco root in her heart. And so Napew lets go of her hand, and Iskwewo falls to the earth. Then Napew tries to follow her, but he can't. The ground stops him. But then after he tries, Mistatim is able to jump through the hole and follow Iskwewo. So Napew's left alone in the star world. Iskwewo and Mistatim are headed to the earth. They're falling. And as they're falling, Iskwewo becomes very pregnant with the star, and the tobacco plant grows out of her chest. And so Iskwewo and Mistatim fall into the water, and Mistatim drags Iskwewo onto the earth, and then together they build the land. When they fell, a piece of the sweetgrass garden fell with them, and so that piece of sweetgrass garden grows and expands and covers the whole stage. And then Iskwewo and Mistatim essentially build things around them. So they build trees, they build rocks, they build other plants and berries, and they build a buffalo. They call a buffalo, and it emerges from the sweetgrass garden. All the while they're building the land, Napew's frantically digging and trying to get to Iskwewo. And once the land is being done built, Iskwewo starts to have contractions. But the thing is that Iskwewo hasn't been human before, so she doesn't understand what she's feeling. All she knows is that her baby has to come out. So what she does is she grabs a knife that was in her pocket that she was using in the star world, and she cuts open her stomach and pulls the baby out. And so she realizes she's dying when she pulls the baby out. And so she pulls her heart out of her chest that's entwined with tobacco vines, and she plants it in the ground so that her daughter will always have tobacco. So she takes, like, her last moment is placing her daughter onto Mistatim in front. Mistatim's laying down, and she places her daughter in front of her legs. And just as she dies, all the star people fall to the earth. And Napew's one of the first men to fall. And as he emerges, Iskwewo disappears. So she's gone, and all he can see is Mistatim and the daughter. And so he picks up the daughter and he says, Iskwewo, I will find you. And so the rest of the play and all the stories in Used to Call Me Marie are Napew finding Iskwewo on the earth, and Iskwewo always has Mistatim. So he makes a promise in this creation story, and he keeps his promise 7 times. And in each story, they have a moment of recognizing each other too. So now I'm going to show you a PowerPoint. Oh, I have to share my screen. I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation with a few pictures from the show. Oh no, why can't I show the presentation? Here we go. Okay. So we did a big workshop of the show in October where we essentially built Mistatim, and there's a lot of music and dance in the show too, because as Métis people, we love song and dance. And this was the promo photo for the show. So that's me catching a star. And this, oh no, this is Mistatim. So this is our pony. So Mistatim is this big magical horse that follows Iskwewo in every story and is built with 6 dancers. And so the pony jigs, the pony powwow dances, the pony can country 2-step, the pony can dance, like the dancers can dance in and out of the pony, and it's quite magical because there's also a lot of weddings in the play. So our dancers become the community and the people at the weddings, and they also become Mistatim, magical pony. And this is Mistatim and Iskwewo, that's Maddie McCallum, and Iskwewo's gardening, and Mistatim is like, what's up, best friend? Says hi. And that's Mistatim laying down. And this is a picture I found in the Alberta archives that I just kept going back to, and this is one of my relatives. This is Johnny Calahoo, who was essentially one of the founders of the Alberta Métis Association. And I found this picture of him, and he really struck me. And so I kept the picture around, and I found out later who he was. And then he became one of the biggest, most important stories in the play. So, and that's it. Oh no, I gotta move this again. Great. And now Joel and Maddie are gonna come on and introduce themselves.
Hello, my name is Madeline, and I'm a settler from Beaumont, Alberta.
Hey, my name is Joel D. Montgrain, and I am Cree from Treaty 10 and Treaty 6 territory, where I grew up.
Cool. Okay, ready to go?
All right. So Wild Rose, Star, and Jean-Louis. Wild Rose is a trapper and provides for her whole village by selling pelts to French voyagers. She is Plains Cree, and she speaks Cree. She is a matriarch in the making, carrying knowledge and stories way beyond her time. She has never been in love before. Jean-Louis, his father was French, and his mother was Woodlands Cree. He speaks Michif and French. He is employed by the Northwest Post as a French voyager and wears a red sash for his work. He could be a great voyager one day. He has loved many women, but he loves Wild Rose more. Star is white and dappled gray. She is strong and fast. Note, this whole story will be in Cree and Michif. She is speaking Cree and he is speaking Michif. It is sometime in the 1700s. They are young. He is standing beside his canoe. He has just come off the North Saskatchewan River and is waiting for her. The garden is expansive and reaches into the horizon. It goes right beside the river. A bit too full, the plants are really tall and it is clear that they are growing wild. It is spring and the river is melting. Wild Rose enters riding Star. Star has the horsehair braid from the creation story around her neck. Wild Rose has 5 beaver pelts attached to her waist. They walk up to Jean-Louis. He takes his hat off his head and bows his head. She gets off Star.
Jean-Louis?
Yes, and your wild rose.
Ehe.
Where did you get that?
Mistatim?
Ehe.
Well, she walked over to me one day, over at the mouth of the river.
She points, so he understands.
Where I'm from, our horses are not usually that big. Did you tame it to ride?
I didn't know. She picked me.
She reaches to pet Star's face. She leans into Wild Rose's hand. He kneels down and reaches out his hand, allowing Star to sniff him. She sniffs him. She offers him the beavers, and he offers her a braid of sweetgrass. Their hands touched. They are pulled into a suspended moment.
Iskwewo.
You found me.
I promised.
They are pulled out of the suspended moment. Wild Rose turns to get on Star.
Will I see you again?
What?
Will I see you again? Hey, home, where is your home?
Oh,
She understands the word home.
come find me.
She grins. Time and space bend. She gets off Star as Jean-Louis walks towards her. A star descends between them as it begins to snow.
Daughter.
She reaches up, grabs the star, and swallows it. Time passes. Snow covers the sweetgrass as the river turns to ice. Winter turns to spring. The river melts and the wild roses begin to bloom along with sweetgrass. She is standing by the river, 9 months pregnant, carrying beaver pelts, waiting for him. Star stands beside her in the garden. His canoe appears.
I missed you.
Kisakiten.
Time passes. French settlers have arrived and the land begins to look trampled, covered in blood and muddy. Marie, Star, and Louie. Marie Rose Callahoo. She is pale, paler than most half-breeds. She is Swampy, Plains Cree, and French. Her father was French, and her mother was Swampy and Plains. She has a big mouth and can't help but speak her mind. She swears often and doesn't care who hears her. She's a ruthless fighter with a heart so big sometimes it feels as though it will beat out of her chest, and she loves Louie wholeheartedly and unconditionally. Louie Callahoo. He is Mohawk and grew up in Kanawake. He is an excellent voyager, trapper, and hunter. His purpose in life is the survival of his people, and he will do whatever it takes for his community to survive and continue to make children. He is harsh and does not show any weakness, ever. Louis loves Marie as much as he can, but love is not his priority. Star is a big, strong horse built to run, pull, and carry. She is mostly gray. She has a star-shaped mark on her forelock. It is the early 1800s. Marie is young, but Louis isn't. Spring. The snow is melting. Marie is in her sweetgrass garden, wearing the horsehair braid around her waist. The garden is suffering, and there are only a few short plants growing. Marie is skinning a white rabbit. She is speaking to her Nimama, who is now a star person.
It's today, Nimama. The sun traveler is getting here today. Last night I heard one of the aunties say he's gonna make us rich. But that's just a story, right? And what does that matter anyways? We don't need money. He's gonna start a trading post here. And why the hell would a Mohawk man want to come all the way out here? Smells like horse shit to me. Jean-Pierre and Baptiste aren't gonna make it back. The English got him. Papa couldn't even get their bodies back because we shot the horse last night and we had to eat it.
She has finished skinning the rabbit. She wraps the meat in a cloth. and tucks the pelt into the horsehair braid around her waist.
I got this rabbit in our traps this morning. Better than I've had in a while, hey, Mama. Maybe that means the animals are coming back.
She picks 3 pieces of sweetgrass and starts braiding them together.
Hey, Mama, did the star people forget about us? Because some days it feels like it. If you could just send us one buffalo, that's all we need. Just one buffalo to feed us all. I got my first moon time this morning. That means I can have a baby, doesn't it?
Time passes. He rides into her village. She meets him with the rabbit and a sweetgrass braid.
Bonjour. What is your name?
Marie,
What are you?
what's that supposed to mean?
You an Indian?
Iskwewo.
But you're white. Half-breed?
I'm from here.
Oh, so you're all half-breeds then.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't found any of your men yet.
We had a rough winter. There aren't many left.
Is that why you all look like you're starving?
Who are you? They call you the Sun Traveler, but what is your name?
Louie.
Huito non famille.
Kaliu.
Why do they call you the Sun Traveler?
Because I'm supposed to bring light to the people.
What kind of light?
Well, I'm saving your village from starving to death, aren't I?
I could have fed us.
He points to the rabbit in her hand.
Maria, it takes a lot of rabbits to feed a whole village.
Here, sweetgrass.
She aggressively reaches up to hand him the sweetgrass. He takes it. Their hands touched, and they are pulled into a suspended moment.
It's you.
Iskwewo.
You found me.
I promised.
They are pulled out of the time suspension. She pets the horse's face.
Bonjour, Mistatim.
Merci pour la foins sucrée.
Time passes. Summer. The plains bloom as much as they can through the mud. She is in her sweetgrass garden. It is slightly fuller than before. He approaches her in the garden. She is trying to pull a piece of sweetgrass out of the ground, but it's stuck. He watches her for a moment.
Do you need a knife?
Oh, how long have you been standing there?
Long enough to see that you need a knife.
She takes the knife from him and starts cutting her sweetgrass.
Yeah, Marie Beauregard told me you trap. Where is your trap line?
It's my line. You and your Frenchmen can stay away from my trap line.
I'm not.
You people are dirty rich and we're starving to me gonfle. You're killing so many animals for money and there isn't even enough for us to eat. The buffalo have left. Va te faire foutre.
Marie!
I give the meat and fur from my trap line to our starving children.
I'm not going to take your trap line. I'm going to make my own.
He kneels down in the garden to help her.
What are you doing?
Helping you.
What do you want?
Marie, I just want to help you.
He pulls a tobacco root out of his pocket.
What's that?
It's the root of a tobacco plant. I thought you might want to plant it in your garden with your sweetgrass.
Tobacco doesn't grow here.
Let's try.
He digs a hole and plants the tobacco.
Yeah, I heard a story about a garden that fell from the sky and grew sweetgrass and tobacco. Ever since, I've always wanted to try and grow a garden just like that.
But that's just a story.
You know, my mother, she used to grow tobacco back home. She's got half a dozen gardens 3 times the size of yours. She trades some of it, but most of it she keeps.
What do you do with it?
We pray with it.
Well, how are you going to pray here? It doesn't grow here.
Well, I'm Catholic. I don't use it anymore. Aren't you Catholic?
No.
But you're French.
Iskwewo.
Well, I saw you at Mass last Sunday.
Just because I go to church doesn't mean I'm Catholic.
They harvest sweetgrass silently for a moment.
So who taught you how to trap?
My name Mama.
Oh, I haven't seen her yet.
She's gone.
She froze?
No, We were out trapping. We were just east of the river and 3 men started chasing us. She told me to run, so I didn't. I haven't seen her since.
Your dad can't hunt?
She was better.
Can I check your trap line with you sometime?
Maybe.
Louie gets up to leave.
Au revoir, Marie.
Time passes. Late autumn. Leaves fall from the trees. Louie is skinning rabbits beside Marie's garden. Marie is picking red berries beside the garden.
Yeah, it would be nice if you started to get some foxes on those traps of yours.
Oh, I got a white one last winter.
What'd you do with it?
I kept it. It's under my pillow.
You saving it for someone special or what?
Yeah, I'm going to wear it when I get married. I'll wear it around my neck so I look French. Oh, make sure to be careful with the white rabbits. I want to save those too to make mucklucks.
Guapos.
What?
Rabbit.
Lièvre.
What?
Lapin.
Oh, right. I was confused because I know what rabbit is in Cree.
That's what I said.
No, guapos is how you say rabbit in Cree.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Then what does lièvre mean?
Well, it's the Michif word for rabbit.
What?
Michif.
What's Michif?
It's the half-breed language. It's what you use.
No, I don't.
Marie?
I speak Cree.
No, you don't.
I speak Cree and French.
Okay.
He goes back to skinning his rabbits.
How would you know I'm not speaking Cree?
Because I speak Cree and I can't understand you.
Pas manger de la merde.
The whole village speaks Michif. It's not just you.
So what does Cree sound like then?
Omiyasu.
What the hell does that mean?
You're beautiful.
Well, I've never heard that word before in my life.
He has skinned a white rabbit, which he sets down gently near her.
Here. For your mucklucks.
Time passes. He rides a horse, leading Star behind him.
This is your horse.
Bonjour, Mistatim.
Marie, Rose, and Louie. Marie is young and in love, an old soul at heart. She grew up with Louie and has always loved him and known she was going to marry him. Her love for him is indescribable, intangible, and infinite. She cannot live without him. All she wants is to be a mother and a wife. Louie is young and in love. He comes from a long line of leaders and is expected to lead as well. He has loved Marie his whole life. He would do anything for her. She is his one true, great, and incomparable love. Rose is a bush pony. She is mangy and short, but wide and strong. Summer in the 1870s. Marie is 7 months pregnant. She is wearing the horsehair braid around her waist. Marie and Rose are standing beside the garden. The garden is flourishing. She is packing Rose's saddlebags with dried meat. Louie walks on. He's holding a gun and wearing a beaded fringe coat and a cowboy hat.
You've got your knife,
Yes.
your tobacco pouch,
Yes.
gunpowder.
Yes.
How long will you be gone?
Until we have our land back. Marie, I have to go. Rial's calling all the Metis men across the plains. We have to fight or we'll lose everything.
I wish you wouldn't.
How could I not?
She takes the horsehair braid off of her waist and hands it to him.
I'll wait for you.
Gisagitim.
They say goodbye. He gets on Rose. She reaches up to hand him a sweetgrass braid. They are pulled into a suspended moment.
It's you.
Iskwewo.
You found me.
I promised.
Time passes. Winter. Rose walks on stage, her reins dragging. Marie walks on stage holding a baby. They meet. Marie takes the horsehair braid off of the saddle. The horse has returned without him. Time passes. The world becomes cold. Marie, Star, and John. Marie is independent and the first woman in her family to go to post-secondary school. She's from a very small town. She grew up on a farm riding horses. She's never been in love. John is sure of himself and his decisions. He has given up his life as a backwoods Métis man for a job and a life in the city. He didn't necessarily want to leave his life, but he thinks it's what he needs to do. Star is a pretty young quarter horse. She is white and dappled gray. 1995. It is spring. Wild roses are blooming. Marie is wearing jogging gear. She comes to an apartment door and takes her keys out of her bra and tries to open the door. Her key won't turn in the doorknob, so she tries again. It still won't turn. So she starts getting mad and continues trying to turn her key and starts hitting the door and pulling on the door handle. John opens the door, ready to fight.
Can I help you?
Uh,
Well,
well, I live in this apartment building and I came in the back door for the first time and I made the same route I always make to my apartment, but must have forgotten that I came in the back. So I must have gotten all turned around and I thought your apartment was my apartment.
oh,
So I wasn't trying to break in or anything. I was just, lost.
you got lost in your own apartment building?
Well, it would seem that way, wouldn't it?
How long you been living here?
2 years. I'm Marie, by the way.
John.
Well, I'm gonna go find my apartment.
She starts to walk away.
What number do you live in?
182.
Huh. Well, that's on the other side of the building. You're gonna have to go down to the lobby and get in the north elevators.
Okay, thanks.
She walks away. Time passes. Marie is on the phone with her sister.
I swear to God, this guy is the most gorgeous man I've ever seen. He's dark, and I think he might be Mexican or maybe Greek. Hey, some of those Italian guys are darker, aren't they? Well, anyways, I look like such an idiot.
There is a knock on the door. She answers, still holding the phone.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
I have to check on my parents' place tomorrow, and I was wondering if you wanted to come with me. It's mostly the horses.
Horses? Yeah, I love horses.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Great.
awesome.
I'll come by tomorrow at 7.
Sounds great.
Great.
See you then.
He leaves. She picks up the phone.
It was the Mexican guy.
End.
Okay. So that's it. Thanks so much for listening and taking the time to watch us do our thing. Once again, the play is called Used to Call Me Marie, and thank you so much again for watching.